So as mentioned in the student guide, there are a number of unplugged activities. We've included a few that introduce some coding principles to your students around the language use, for example, what debugging is, what a program is, what it means to run something, as well as ways that they can think like a programmer, so some of the skills that programmers use, in addition to applying this specifically to the emergency services. So there's a nice task that links algorithms and 999 emergency phone calls.
Something that I really liked was something called the Search is On, where again the students can work in pairs or even actually sort of make challenges for other people to have a go at. So this is very much based on the personal locator beacon, which can send out a signal. So using GPS, we can actually triangulate or trilaterate where somebody is. And what students can do is, and as a teacher, you can probably print out a load of these yourselves. So the students can actually write on this. They might choose one location and then work out how far that is away from 3 known locations. They can then give that to another group who actually have to work out where that first group decided they were. So again, this is the principle behind GPS and how we can use 3 things to find the position of the 4th.
There is a task that links to an application called What 3 Words? So the entire globe has been divided up into 57 trillion 3x3 squares, each with its own unique 3-word reference. Now, the emergency services in the UK have been using this application to help to respond to incidents quickly, but you can also use it. So, for example, if you search for item, chill, composers, that will send you to the Royal Academy of Engineering based in central London. However, students can do this for their home address, some key landmarks where their school is, and there's some nice little questions that link to that as well.
Absolutely, and I think that this is in many ways easier to use and more memorable than putting out a 10-figure grid reference where you need a map and so on. So What 3 Words I think is a really interesting thing for students to have a go at. Mission planning is a really important task, and this is applicable to people in the real world who are involved in search and rescue, as well as actually engineers actually thinking about how they can work as a team to think about the best way of coming up with a solution.
So in this task, we provide information about 2 real-life emergency services vehicles used by the Coast Guard, a helicopter and a lifeboat, and create a scenario in which there are 2 ships with a different number of passengers on board which are in distress. So students need to work together to decide which emergency service vehicle will go to which boat, who will they rescue first, and to be able to come up with this under perhaps a time constraint.
And I think that even if you did this with a group of teachers, I think it would still be a really good way to actually get anybody working together to think about what's the best solution, how do you kind of do the calculations to work out what has to go where. And I think it would be a really interesting thing for teachers to have a go at as well as students.
There are 3 other unplugged tasks which ask students to interpret code blocks the same as what they will see when they are using the Crumble software. Now, although these tasks don't require them to have any knowledge of coding, we do suggest that they do perhaps one introductory task, such as the emergency lighting one, so that they've seen the coding blocks already before that they have a go at this. However, after doing these tasks, it will strengthen their understanding of the coding that they'll then go on to do afterwards on the plugged-in activities. One of these activities that I particularly like is called Light the Way. This asks students to match a light sequence written down to a different algorithm. So some of these are written, some as a flowchart, and some as coding blocks. Now this uses the real life context in which every single lighthouse across the UK has its own unique light pattern. Before the days of GPS, and perhaps now as well, mariners used to use this to be able to identify where they were along the shoreline.
And to download extra copies of the student guide, you can go to the STEM Resources website for the latest version.